Guys doing this is Captain Spencer Clark with Breaking Bass Guide Service down here at Table Rock Lake. Just wanted to give you guys a fishing report on what's been working for me the last couple weeks down here. Right now the lake's at 912. We're a couple foot low. Water temperature usually been starting out anywhere from 59 to 60 degrees. The lake's been cooling down a little bit, still staying pretty warm though, just because we've had some unusual warm weather so far this fall. Last couple days it's been pretty warm down here for this time of the year, so that water temperature has been holding pretty steady here for the last week. A couple things that I'm doing right now to catch fish: I'm going down the bank and I'm cranking and I'm throwing a little swim bait. The crankbait I'm using is just this Arky 350 series crankbait. This particular bait's been one of my favorite crankbaits for a number of years. I've probably been using this thing for 7 years or so. Won a lot of money on this bait. It's working pretty good right now down here at Table Rock. You just go down the bank. You want to look for any transition areas, any areas where you got some busted up rock up there, around a point, a little channel swing, a little cut, looking for those little changes up there on the bank. The whole key for me has been reeling this bait really fast. It's not so much a feeding bite. You're getting a reaction strike up there, it seems like. You just want to move around and hit a lot of spots with this bait. You'll catch some nice fish, some nice smallmouth and largemouth been up there eating crawdads, I guess, but this has been working pretty good. Another bait that I've been using is just a little swim bait. Right now you can take a 2.8, 3.8, whichever one you want to use. Get up there in those same areas and just slow roll this baby like you would a slow rolled spinner bait, and you'll catch a few fish doing this. The past week we had a bunch of smallmouth actually, just right on the bank, just fishing this little swim bait. Those fish are up there, they're chasing bait, chasing little minnows around. The key has been looking for those points, those shaded banks where you got a little bit of bait flickering up there. If you go down those banks, you keep covering water, you'll catch some fish. Now, if I'm not catching them up on the bank, the other thing I've been doing is fishing brush piles. I've been really keyed in the last week on brush piles that are less than 20 foot deep. I've been having a little bit more success on those ones than some of the ones that are out in like 30, 28 foot that we typically fish in the summertime. Seems like the shallower brushman's working a little bit better for me. Kind of been doing a two-prong approach to catching fish out of those brush piles. Been throwing a junior flipping jig here from Razor Custom Tackle, pairing that up with just a little Dirk's Crawl. This is a finesse presentation, making only a couple casts on those brush piles. Between that, I'll rotate and I'll throw a Bait Caves Customs. This is the drop worm. This Morning Dawn's been really good. Basically been pulling up to the brush piles, making 1 or 2 casts. If I don't get bit on either one, I just go to the next brush pile. Having to work pretty hard to catch fish doing this, but some real nice fish have been coming to the boat. We had a trip the other day, caught several fish over 3 pounds, but just had to run a lot of spots. So you can get bit doing that right now. One pattern that's been working pretty good right now too, if you're good with your electronics, is you can get out in the main river channel. Get out there in the middle of the lake, turn on your side scan and just go down the channel. And if you see balls of bait, just stop, take a look at it with your live scope. If you see a couple big heads swimming around that bait, you can take a small fluke style bait like this and just swim it over the top of those balls of shad. And a lot of times if you're working this in the shad, up and around the shad, you'll get bit on this. Seems like the smaller the bait, the better. Kind of hard to keep up with this bite though, because you got to be out there. The shad are constantly moving. Every once in a while you find an area where the shad hang out for longer than a day or two. But you can catch some real good fish keyed up on bait. I like to look for birds this time of the year. If you see a bunch of seagulls and loons going down in an area, chances are there's a ball of bait out there. You just have to go over there, use your electronics to see if there's any bass hanging out. The fish that are really deep, say down in like 50 to 60 foot of water, because our thermocline's broken up a little bit, and a lot of bass have actually gone really deep right now. Been catching some of those fish just dropping a Magnum shaky head. This is a Razor Custom Tackle Pro Shaker jig head. Been throwing this with just the drop worm, same bait I've been throwing on a drop shot, and just fishing this right under the boat, dropping it down on them. In order to do this, been using live scope, fishing really deep. You can catch those same fish you know, say dropping a drop shot worm down on them. The whole key with this too has been that sometimes the fish want to bite and sometimes they don't. If you don't get bit pretty quick, you might as well just move on to the next fish because they're not going to bite. That's been working to catch a few fish as well. Anyways, guys, so here's some of the baits, some of the techniques I've been doing the last week to catch fish down here. Nothing's been, you know, a guarantee. You've had to try a lot of different patterns, a lot of different baits the last couple of weeks. The fish are pretty scattered out. As the weather gets colder, we head more into winter here. The fish will start grouping up more, getting more keyed up on the shad, moving into those creeks, and I think the bite's going to improve. Hopefully those tips, though, will help you catch some fish if you're coming down here to the lake. Until next time, guys, good luck and good fishing.